My beautiful, welcome back to 1111 True Crime. And if you are new, welcome in. Welcome in. Today we're going to be talking about Liam Payne. And there is a lot of information overwhelming us all. I want to send out condolences to all of Liam Payne's family and friends and loved ones. And then I want to say that I understand a lot of people felt like their life was somehow affected by Liam. I've watched so many beautiful things that he's done. And I understand we all have really bad relationships in our lives at times. Many of us do. Sometimes toxic relationships. And it takes two to tango. I'm just going to say that. Because if you are treated poorly and you need to remove yourself. And so with that being said, I'm going to leave all that kind of drama at the door in a sense of who could have influenced him. But what I want to talk about is a little bit about some of the things I don't truly understand why that would have occurred if he actually fell to his death. Okay, so I want to talk about things like the scream. Yet there's no reflex to protect yourself when you land. That bothers me. If you're alert enough to release an audible scream, then did he pass out before he hit? I don't understand that. I don't understand why his shoes are on but aren't laced up and tied. I don't understand why he's got his phone on him allegedly, or his bag and his hat, like he's ready to go. I don't understand why, if a man comes down into the lobby, regardless of the reason, and he's convulsing, an ambulance isn't immediately called. There are guests that are stating that he couldn't go back to his room on his own after what looked to have been a convulsion, where he dropped and had a convulsion, and they didn't call for medical help. There was no ambulance on the way. I don't understand that. There's a rumor that allegedly the ex that is coming out with the book, right, days before Liam's death, she's coming out with a book about all their details in the relationship of this toxic, narcissistic, empathic battle, which, hey, I feel for you. I've been in one. I always felt like if a narcissist was truly exposed like that they would spiral down. I truly believe that. So, was Liam spiraling down and nobody there to catch him, including when he went to that lobby? And then the biggest thing that came to me and all that I'm learning about the pink stuff is it echoes from the Jay Slater case now. I'm learning what this pink stuff is. And we had someone that stated they had been at the Green World Festival over there with Lucy in the Jay Slater case and a mixed race man, and they kept telling that girl that he had the pink stuff. And then I look back at Jay Slater and I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm learning a lot by intermixing the knowledge of these cases to understand what could have been taking place in other cases. So I'm going to come up for air. We're going to go back and we're going to find out what you think about some of these things. Why would Liam have been like ready to go? Was he being detained? Because in a way, yes, we're going to get into how his visa was denied and he wasn't able to come back to the U.S. So let's jump over. Let me get chat lit up here. I believe, in my opinion, it was not an accident in Liam's fall, says Paula. Well, and there's a lot of questions that we're going to have to look at. There is a full investigation, CCTV footage, all kinds of stuff. And check this out. Liam Payne had a bodyguard. Where was he? What in the world? Hi, how are you doing, Karen Bell? Good to see you, lovely. Welcome back, Cold and Covered. Good to see you. Violet One. Hello, my love. Just saying hello to a few people. We do have an interactive live true crime chat here. And so I encourage you to drop your comment in the live chat below. And I might just grab it and read it online for everybody so we can discuss and see, if we agree with you, disagree. It's all good. Feel free, safe place to share your opinion. Please be mindful and follow our YouTube guidelines and avoid swear words if possible. The Gaming Circle. Funny how he was excited to get married, but then jumped out the window, right? So Liam Payne, for those of you that are just kind of trying to catch it all, you're with me. I'm with you. I'm just soaking it all in. So he was engaged recently. So the girlfriend had come and stayed with him. They were both in Argentina, and she even stayed 2 weeks longer because his visa wasn't getting approved. It was Liam's visa was being denied, allegedly, due to past drug issues. All right. So she's now saying she felt hostage in a sense and was scared to leave because she was afraid he would spiral down. If he's not allowed to leave and you're worried about your friend, I mean, this gets difficult. This gets really difficult when it comes to mental health. It's not an easy solution. There's no easy fix. Mental health is so important, and it is treated as if it's a disease in a way that there's no hope. And a lot of times blame is put upon the person that is suffering the most. Now, at the same time, there are those that will misuse their feelings, right, of aloneness and fear of being alone, that's suffering from that depression, and they can they will manipulate out of a fear of letting go of being alone. They'll try to manipulate the person into staying, and a lot of the times the person will feel hostage because they're like, well, if I leave, then they're going to do something, it'll be my fault. And that's a lot. That's a huge burden, and the person doesn't know what to do. And when I'm researching Liam's case, I'm seeing that time and time again throughout relationships that he holds on tight. It's almost as if he's suffering so much alone and nobody's hearing him, and it's heartbreaking. It truly is. But even if he's going through all this, if he's down in the lobby and he is passed out and had some sort of alleged seizure, at that moment, anybody witnessing that doesn't call 911 must experience some sort of guilt in their own world, I would imagine, because I think if I was a guest, I would be like, where are you carrying that man? Allegedly, he couldn't even go back to his own room. He had to be carried. Apparently, 2 girls in the room, Karen Bell, and they say they left earlier, but did they? I can't wait to see what the CCTV footage says. That's a good point. All right, so Lula brings up, Lula Bell, I love your name. You say, I think he had another seizure trying to climb down and fell unconscious backwards. So, I was wondering if they had locked him in his room. There were guests that made reports about Liam coming down to the lobby, I believe it was, multiple times, even smashing his laptop. The last time he had come down is the time that he allegedly passed out and convulsed. And so if they just carried him back to his room, y'all, I'll be honest. Did Liam die right there as they were carrying him and they were like, oh crap? Because allegedly, and I know I'm saying that a lot, but I'm CYA, allegedly one of the own hotel staff members supplied the pink stuff, right? So check this out. If he passed away, they need to make it look like it was on his own accord. Are they just going to slip on his shoes, not tie him, put his bag on, and put a phone in his pocket or in his hand, his hat on, and that way they'd be like, well, it's not going to come back on us. Now it looks like he tweaked out. Or could he have been locked in the room because he was throwing such a fit down there that he panicked, being triggered by being locked in, and decided to climb, and just like Lula's saying, had that seizure, and then that would explain not a reaction when he hit the ground. So they're saying there's no defensive wounds on him, but others are reporting a scream, and I'm like, did he pass out in the middle? I mean, did he lose consciousness before he hit the ground? How would you hear a scream if the person's unconscious? And if he's not unconscious, why wouldn't he have blocked? Because it's a reaction to put your hands out, cover your head, cover your face, cover your body. And there's none of that. So I'm with the scream and the reflex are contradicting each other for me. And I'm like, I don't get it. Teresa says they shouldn't have moved him when he had convulsions, should have called an ambulance right away. Hey, Nisi, you said, I think they didn't phone an ambulance as they provided the pink stuff, in my opinion. Love, Nisi. Aw, thank you, lovely. They know a lot more, says Ocean Deep 24. If you know the person, but not a guest. What do you mean? Let me see what Kara said. Okay, Kara says, I have seizures and 911 is never called. They just make sure there is nothing around to hurt me. It's not uncommon not to call 911. That's incorrect. I'll tell you right now. Because unless it's documented history that this person has seizures, a random seizure could be a grand mal and needs to be checked. If the person is not diagnosed with epilepsy or something along that line, and they have a seizure out of the blue, it's a huge deal. Huge. My sister had never had a seizure. She went off to summer camp and had a grand mal seizure. Had they not investigated that, she would have probably had a worse one later. Just saying. It is uncommon. If a guest has a seizure in the lobby to cover their own butts legally, in my humble opinion, I would imagine that they would call an ambulance. In fact, I believe it would be something in their bylaws, if you will. Hey, Kate. Sue Benson says it looks like a cover-up. I do feel there is a cover-up, but how deep? Does it just cover up the fact that somebody supplied him with this stuff? Or is there more to the story? I don't know. I find it so strange that the shoes are on his feet, but they are not tied. That always makes me think of like when somebody's passed out and you put their shoes on their feet, but you don't think to tie them. You're like, okay, shoes are on, the hat's on. It just seemed weird. But hearing them claim that he screamed so loudly for a long time, allegedly, And yet there's no defensive wounds from the hit of the ground. I don't know how I'm trying to wrap my mind around that. Lilabelle says, I think the scream was him realizing he was locked in. You are right on this. That could be. Was he detained by, maybe they locked him in his room for security purpose. And he could have been crawling over the balcony and had a seizure. It could be that. Did he trip on his shoelace? I mean, with them untied. Oh my God, can you imagine being locked in his room? He's off his face on the pink stuff. So he gets his hat, his phone, his bag, throws on his shoes, but he doesn't think to tie his shoes. That could happen, right? And then he's yelling because maybe it was a scream he wanted out. Maybe it was a panic attack, like you're saying. And then maybe he tried to climb over the balcony and fell. The weird thing to me was there was this guy, and I saw the clip. He claimed that he was in his room when he saw the body falling. But he called it a body falling. Now, I don't know if it was just to distance himself from the trauma of it all, or is he mean that body was motionless in its fall, like dead weight, unconscious? I don't know. Ooh, I got somebody barking. A duty of care. Right, Mariah. Right. Thank you, Karen Bell. Exactly. I got dogs barking. We're real life here. I don't know what. Probably a dog walking by with its owner. Kate McCavin says, let me mute and tell him quiet. Noah's going to shut the curtains. I guess somebody's moving around out there. Kate McCavin says, knowing his condition in the lobby, and apparently he had bad experiences of being locked in his room for a long time, maybe he panicked and needed out and tried to climb, but fell. That seems likely. Like he already is suffering from panic attacks and being professionally medicated, which they found, forgive me on the dogs. Let me see if it's somebody at my house. Nobody's here, but they see somebody off in the yard. Oh, somebody is here at my door. Angela says, ooh, think about why else they might lock him in, maybe already deceased. Right? I mean, there are the two options. It just seems so strange to me. I'm constantly coming back to it. And I'm like, why weren't his shoes tied? If he was going to climb, of course he's off his face. So then I'm like, I don't know. Mahara says, who gave consent for staff to take him to his room? He was supposed to be checking out, and was he conscious when they took him to his room? He had a bodyguard. Where was the bodyguard? Why wasn't the bodyguard called when Liam had his seizure? And they claimed he could not walk back on his own, that they carried him back to his room. Could he have had a grand seizure? It's minutes later that he is off there, that he's off the ledge. Ocean Deep 24 says maybe either in the lobby he passed or on his sofa, but apparently he was not conscious before impact. Right. I have a big question. Could that be it? Could Liam have passed right there at that, and they did not want it to come back on them, and so they didn't alert anybody, but then staged the thing to make it look like Liam lost his mind? And I mean, there would already be rugs because obviously he was taking them. It's so shocking. It's so shocking. Ocean Deep 24, to make it look like he tripped over his laces maybe and fell over. You guys are brilliant. And surely if they were not fastened, his trainers would have fallen off him. No, they didn't. On the way down, you mean? No. His shoes weren't laced. You could be right. Sue Paris, allegedly he was told to leave his precious hotel for causing a disturbance. And it was revealed today that his ex-girlfriend who wrote the book was staying on the floor above. I'm just going to throw this out there after reading Sue's comment. Could it have been at her request that he was told to leave? You see what I'm saying? And that spiraled him down. Maybe she didn't want to run into him with everything that was going on. Adam and E Proton says he was in fetal position when he hit the floor. He was already dead when they threw him off. If they threw him off too far out. And the position of the body is strange, you guys. So the building's up like this, and most people would fall forward, right? Boom. So the head would be away from the building, or they might flip and their head would be toward the building. So either way, they can flip in the air. But Liam's body is running the opposite direction when he's found. So he's running horizontal, parallel to the building. So he's laying sideways in fetal position. Still has his hat, everything with him. Right, Brendel, the video was taken down an hour after posted. It's still making its rounds. Sue Paris said last week, I did see a video of Liam hanging onto the outside of the balcony rail. He was shouting, I'm slipping. Can't find the video now. I don't buy that. I mean, I buy you saw it, but I'm sure that was some sort of an AI. I mean, that would be all over if there was. I think it's an AI troll. His dad is going to be all over them. The falling, the rug theory, the lack of friends to support him. Did he fall? Was it an accident? It's all like reliving the Jay Slater case. So that's why I thought of the pink stuff. And I'm like, I'm starting to understand that might be what happened. Jay, in the Jay Slater case, could have been spiked. So then, I'm wondering if Liam, with that girl upstairs, if he was triggered by just a few days earlier, the ex was coming out with a book and had already come out with a book and was doing the interviews, and she was throwing his name out there saying that it, everything in the story but the names are basically true, but we have to call it fiction. And she was talking about some very personal things. If she's upstairs and he's hearing all these interviews, could he have contacted her in a way to tell her to shut the hell up? Stop doing this. I'm not in a good place. Stop doing all this. And she may have said, I want him out of the hotel. Could that have been the email that set him off where he smashed the computer? Is that she's getting him booted out of there? I don't know. Could that have triggered him to then see him as a hostile threat and lock him in that room? There's a lot of questions here. Nisi says, watching him describe meeting Puff Daddy gives me chills. He was definitely at the parties, maybe nothing to do with it, but where did these escorts come from? Did he know too much? Love, Nisi. Why would they have come if he had no money and they're escorts? I don't know. Brenda goes on to say, not in the video. I saw Adam Lamb was screaming, kicking, and screaming. I can't read that, honestly. I don't know what you're saying, love. Sorry. Kelly, how are you, love? Yes, Mama D, you're right. Sounds like this was a setup. It's all to do with Freemasons and the record company. This was also predicted in The Simpsons. It's all planned. Was this predicted in The Simpsons? I've got to check that out. Should we look? All right, hold on. I'll do the typing and we'll see. Liam Payne's predicted by Simpsons. I want to see if it is. 3 days. Yesterday morning, October, showed an item, Newtown. Are you kidding? That's crazy, y'all. Look at this. It's all over TikTok. Simpsons predicted Liam Payne. Simpsons predicted. Simpsons predicted. Look. That's crazy. Wow. That's just getting creepy. The ex gave a statement from the U.S. the next day, so I don't think she was there. Okay. But you can fly. Just saying. Hey, Steve the Cockney. Hello, my lovely. Good to see you. Love. Just so you guys know, tomorrow I will be coming back to the Jay Slater case, just hitting up a video. Like I said, anytime I have something to discuss, I will return. But it doesn't pay for me to come on every day and just be like, yep, let's talk about Jay Slater, and then try to come up with something. But when I have something to share, and I want to really tell you, I think we have to get back on track in the Jay Slater case. So I really do want to get back on track on there. Mariah McDonald, hello, hello. Oh, Ocean Deep says makes sense why his shoes weren't tied if he nipped up to shut her up, in my opinion. So Brendel says there was a guy seen at the left, and I did see that with him, but he said he left 30 minutes before, which I doubt. I am not sure what you're saying. Hold on, Lynn. Lynn, welcome to 1111 True Crime. You said, who was Roger there? The girl in the lounge said, seen there. You guys got to type it so I can actually understand it, please. Who was to enter his room after him, photographing him? I am not sure. I don't think anybody photographed him in his room, if that's what you mean. Kate, by the way, Mama D Takes of Life was streaming earlier. Takes of Life was streaming earlier and thinks you are brilliant on Jay Slater case. Aw, thank you. Kelly says, I'm a new subscriber, Mama D, and love your content. Please keep up the great work and justice for Jay. Right? And if there is injustice in the Liam Payne case, I hope he gets justice as well. And not calling the ambulance, they are making it look suspicious. Thank you, Sue. I agree with you. Len says he was fired and X was publishing a book. He had it visa coming in 2 days. I did hear that his record company had pulled out. She was releasing a book. It was absolutely a hellacious, perfect storm coming down on Liam. Now, before I go, I'm just going to take a few minutes here, and I love you all. I truly do, and I want to continue on this. But I want to say something. With everything that Liam gave back to the whole world, there are those that are going to claim he took. But in the end, the real crisis is that when somebody feels all alone, but they're loved by the entire world to the point that it's not really love, because love is unconditional. I love you no matter what. But we know how quickly Liam had people turn on him, right? You see it now, even in his death. People are turning on him. So when they really, when that fame came to them at a young age, why does it come with a manager and it comes with a security guard? Why doesn't it come with a mental health ambassador, right? A mental health ambassador from the get-go. Because obviously they can afford to have a bodyguard. They can afford to do all this. They've got money, and they've got these young child stars that we're finding out were basically from very early on in Hollywood were preyed upon basically by predators. And I don't know if it would help. I don't know if the predator would then take the role to pretend to be that mental health person and then they have nowhere to turn. I don't know. But to me, I feel like something needs to be done. If they're going to come with a manager, they're going to come with all this stuff. Why would the minors have had access to any alcohol in their rooms? I think this is opening our eyes to taking responsibility for those in our life that we say we adore. Oh, we love you, Liam. Well, then if those fans are buying all this stuff and everything, who in Liam's life and the other boys in in One Direction, who was watching out for their mental health? I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody was there for them. And that ultimately, we're finding out that they all are victims. And then they learn to fear love because your fans love you. But yet they turn on a dime. Right? There's times in life where you got to hit rock bottom just so you know who your real friends are. Right? It happens. But that's when you're the strongest. If you're suffering out there from mental health crisis, I want you to know, my family has suffered from mental health crisis. My oldest son struggles every day. My mother suffered severely. I know it's hard, but this day shall pass too. And make sure you reach out and get the help that you need. Remember, it really is about tomorrow could be a completely different day, and you don't want to waste that opportunity. And what we don't know is what beauty lies ahead. because those that have been through hell are going to have some very beautiful things happen very soon. So don't give away the blessings coming your way. You've earned them. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And remember, it's all about taking care of you. Really. Take that break if you need. Aw, Jennifer Swain. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Lena's says, oh my God, Jennifer, you spend so much money to this channel. You are amazing. Is that not the truth? Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, lovely. Like I said, I greatly appreciate you. Christy Burns says, I believe Simon Cowell failed him big time. He won, though, X Factor. Simon signed them up. Where was he for him? I think there's a lot going to come to light. She goes on to say, the sad thing is people are people, whoever they are, rich or poor, famous or not, life is hard for everyone. You know, before I go, we're going to wrap it up right here. We'll come back and we will do Jay Slater case tomorrow. But I do want to say, I told my son the other day, I'm glad he's not rich, like monetarily, at a young age. Because you would never know if somebody loved you for your money or if they loved you. And right now, you know who loves you. You know who's real. So, money can buy you a lot of fake, but it can't buy you love. Peace out. Love you. And you have my love free. I give it to you freely. I love you. That's